Okay, so this is a demonstration of Blink technology that's created by Tuniverse. Currently, on the Apple App Store, we have an application that's called Sync. It's been downloaded over 30,000 times, and it's a 5-star app, and it's very well reviewed. And the companion server app has been downloaded to over 20,000 Macs and PCs around the world. So it's become very popular for something for which we've done no advertising. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to show you today. However, though, is this application that will be coming out, and it's not just an application. This application is going to be a demonstration of a platform that is now called Blink Photo. So I've encapsulated functionality of that platform within this app so that I can show it to you, but in a minute I'll also show it to you over on the Mac or on a PC. Right now I have a Mac to show it to you on, just to show you that it actually works really on any device. But here it is on the iPad. So when I started Blink here, it immediately gives me access to 3 of my computers, any number of computers really, but I have 3 computers that have photos on them. I have an iMac that sits at home and a Mac Mini that sits at home, and then I have this work PC that sits right here, where I am here at my office. If I go into my iMac home here, I can see that I can quickly, by the way, this machine here has about 36,000 photos on it. It's about 105, 110 gigabytes of photos, and that clearly would not fit on this iPad, or would it be reasonable to expect that I could get every single photo that I own on this iPad? But I can get to every single one of them. So I can quickly browse all my albums. Let's just go into an album here. Let me find one that's interesting. Here's a nice Blizzard. When I go into this album, it requests the information that's necessary to show me this album, right? It's just the thumbnails. It's not a whole lot of data. You can see it loaded very fast, but yet it's still pretty reasonable display of what's in this album. And so now if I were to go into the album and let's just look at a picture, it's now going to request information enough to show on this iPad screen, which is actually very nice, but it's not that high resolution of a screen, so I didn't have to ask for a whole lot of data. But if I want to, I can zoom in, and you can see that it gets progressively more and more accurate. And you can see that that really is an 18 megapixel picture. Let's look at some of this snow over here as I'm moving around. You can see it's pretty quick. That snow is pretty clear. Our users currently are using this today to view their photos. They like to share these photos on Facebook, which we have integrated, share it on Twitter, email these photos, print them locally using AirPrint, or save these photos to the photo app. And that's all very cool. And getting to your photos especially, but getting to your stuff is something that people really are interested in doing. But just getting to your stuff we don't think is something that's really worth money. There are people out there that are trying to do that, but we just don't think that's really where the market is. Where the market is in photo products, specifically as it applies to photos. We have the photo product world is a very lucrative market to be in. And so what we've done, and this is where Blink comes in. This is where it changes from what was called Sync to what we're now calling Blink. And the reason we're calling it Blink is because the word Blink means web link, much like blog means weblog. I want to just show you an example of where that is very powerful. Let's go into this photo product creator. This is a photo book editor, much like any other photo book editor that's out there. There's several of them. But this one's really different, and the reason it's really different is because of this button right here. It's the Blink button. You have a Facebook button. I can go look at photos that are on Facebook that maybe my friends have, and I have photos that I've uploaded and I've spent time watching a little progress meter go. But I want to start creating a photo book right away, so I'm just going to go and tap on this Q button here, and instantly all 3 of my computers, and by the way this is HTML5, so this doesn't just work on the iPad, but it is the only way on an iPad to do this. It doesn't just work on the iPad because it's HTML5. It works on any HTML5 enabled device. So let's just go and tap on this little Mac Mini here where I have some photos. This is another Mac that's sitting at my home. And let me just pan over here and look at an album that maybe I want to create a photo book from. Let's go into this one. So there's an album, a little sports album that I have created, and there's the photos that are in that album. And if I want to create a photo book, what am I going to do? I'm just going to reach down here, drag and drop that photo to the album above, right? Now, what happened there was this really small thumbnail is being delivered on demand, and something a little bit larger, but not really that large, is delivered so that it can be quickly rendered on this page while the user's creating the photo book, right? So the user's not spending a lot of time watching a progress meter, not deciding what he's got to, doesn't have to decide what they've got to go get. They can get to every one of their photos, and they can get to every one of those photos instantly. So they can just create a photo book very quickly. They can just decide, you know what, I'm going to drag that. If they want to, they can rotate some stuff with their hands. They can move stuff around. You know, that's, at least in the context of the iPad, that's very cool. Let's just keep going here and just see how long it takes me to create something that's, I don't know, kind of interesting. So that is an example of how, by creating a link, a URL to every one of your photos, and it's not just a URL to the full-size photo. The URL can access the photo in a unique way, in a way that provides the photo specifically for the context that it's being used. That photo right there was maybe 20K. It's an 8 megabyte file. But to deliver it to that little square so I can see it, it's only about 20K, so it's instantaneous. In the background, the user does not need to know this, does not need to be aware of or watch or wait for or take time to do this. That photo in its full resolution, cropped exactly like that, is delivered to the photo fulfillment provider, the people that print this photo book, at its highest resolution. It's not downsampled at all, so you get the very highest quality photo book you can get. So there's an example of Blink and how we've integrated it with a photo book creation product. Thank you.